Well, hello, YouTube. So, where do I begin? Well, I guess this is where I begin. This is, I guess, my attempt to put down in words the experiences I've been going through this past year. And I guess just introduce myself. My name is Russ. I am 55 years old. And to about a year ago, I was pretty stuck in life. And been going through a process where I have been slowly getting unstuck. And I guess that's just the whole point of this is I've never done a YouTube video. I've never thought I'd ever do YouTube videos. I've not come to a point in my life where I, I've arrived anywhere, but I am currently less stuck than I have been, and just kind of felt like this could help other people. It could identify. And I mean, there's lots of ways to get stuck in life. There's lots of different levels that you can get stuck in. Certainly, some people have been more stuck than me. I would say the vast majority of people less stuck. And I'm not talking about just a little stuck. Like, I don't know, if you're the kind of person who keeps getting up every day and you keep doing what you're doing and you're trying to make ends meet and you're trying to um, figure out, just why you're doing what you're doing every day, other than the obvious, take care of your family. Um, but I mean, if you're like me, making it month to month, week to week, day to day, trying to reinvent your life. I mean, that's where I was and am, and I don't know. I don't know where this goes. I know that it's helped me to just start moving, just to start. Like I don't know how to do this video, but I'm just gonna do it. And I guess there's just so many things and so many directions, so many contributing factors. But I can tell you just kind of brief history where I was at, and I think I'll just start there. 55 years old, 54 years old at the time. Um, at a point where we had relocated 8 years into being in another place, my wife and kids moving from a northern state down to Oklahoma area. And after 8 years of trying different things and having 2 college degrees, and right now I'm doing a video while I'm driving back from a job in the middle of Oklahoma, and it's the only time I have. Um, I've literally worked multiple jobs trying to make enough money to get and create some sort of security. And I was at a point last year where, and I've been there for years, just hoping that another day would bring some better opportunity and some would come and it would seem like it would be good. I mean, I do construction, and I've got a bachelor's degree in biology and an associate's degree in arts and science, and out of that I've got massive student loans. But but I generate enough income to just keep going month to month to month. And at point last year, actually over a year ago, my wife had just said to me, this isn't working anymore, and you're not taking care of yourself. I was 360 pounds at the time. I've lost almost 90 pounds, something like that. I had to change some things, and through the process, I already knew what I needed to do. I'm hoping that this can impact other people. Maybe the end of this story is better. Maybe, but I was at a point where I just couldn't see anything other than the day that was in front of me. I woke up every single morning just wondering why I felt the way I did, and why all I could think about was making more money, staying up late, drinking wine, and putting out more Facebook stuff, trying to get more people, and trying to focus on all of the problems, and then you get a little bit ahead, and you don't have any health insurance, and the kids need this and that, and figure out how to make some payments, and then it's braces, and it's broken things, and doctor visits, and then suddenly you haven't been to the doctor for 6 years, and your doctor tells you one day you're probably going to be dead in 5 years. You don't change something, your blood pressure's so high, you're going to stroke out. Something's got to change. And I was visiting my family, and my brother offered to try to help. He's got an undeterminate amount of money, but we know he's pretty well off, and I hate to think that I would take that for granted, but he offered to give me some help. So I started talking to a life coach, and I'm thinking life coach, therapy, how can I even explain to this guy how at the end of my rope I am. We live in a decent house with a high rent, and I just try to make it. If you're there, maybe you're just trying to make the next one. Just make sure you can get through. And that's where it was. My health was completely deteriorating. Though I would keep working and working, I would stay up late. I'd get maybe 5-6 hours of sleep, take the kids to school, be too tired, have jobs going, have people put on the jobs, and go back to sleep for a couple hours because I knew that I'd be up late working, and it was just a mess. And not the worst mess, like drug addict and, alcoholic. I mean, through the help of this guy, he helped me determine that, I just needed to start somewhere. And, that start for me was just like overcoming the fact that I've lost weight before, that I've pushed through and gotten good jobs, and then made some money, and then and then everything just kind of reverted back, and I realized I kind of came to a point where I was dealing with an internal depression that other people couldn't see, and I was medicating my aches and pains. I mean, I couldn't walk for 15 minutes without sitting down. At 54 years old, I couldn't walk for 15 minutes without having so much excruciating pain that I had to sit down and take a rest. And I couldn't fall asleep at night because I was just so worried about how was I going to make the next payment? How was I going to keep us from bankrupting or overdrawing the account the next day? And what bill didn't I pay in order to pay what necessarily had to be paid? And at the same time try to keep my family happy, still go to different events and pay for things that we couldn't clearly pay for, and try to make it up and get another job and create another income stream, and on and on and on and on. And I mean, I could go back in a lot of ways. I'm going back through my mind and how I ended up in the place that I ended up in. And I could blame friends that I couldn't count on because we had business deals together and they didn't hold up their end and they left me holding the stick. But at the end of the day, anything that ever happened to me that I didn't like, I allowed it to happen. And I kept just trying to make more money. And I'm still trying to make money. I'm still trying to my way out of this, but 90 pounds lighter, no longer in pain. I've been just moving. The whole thing just started one day, just read this book. And I've got a lot of books that I can suggest, things that have helped me, and maybe if I continue to do these videos, or God, I couldn't even look at myself a year ago, and I don't even love the idea of looking at myself as I'm recording this right now, but I like it a lot better than I did a year ago. And anyway, it's come to a great realization that pain isn't bad, depression is. And I needed to seek things that were uncomfortable. And I watch videos and I'll tag those and stuff if I continue to do this. If I decide to ever even put this on YouTube, I don't know. Right now I'm just doing the next thing. And for me, getting from staying up drinking 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 glasses of wine, falling asleep, and getting up the next day and not really having sleep and my body deteriorating, to now coming to a point where I don't drink at home. And I was never dependent on alcohol. I used alcohol. I used it as a sleeping aid because I didn't even have money to go to the doctor. I refused to go spend money on myself. And a lot of this had to do with the way I even saw myself. And my fault in it. I take responsibility that I allowed things to happen, but the guilt, I mean, I'd say that I was at the lowest point in my life last year, but I wasn't. I was in the most stuck point in my life. I'd been in much lower points in my life prior to this in terms of my decision making and the people I hurt. And now all I was trying to do is unhurt everybody around me. And I think I'm on my way there. I've lost 90 pounds. I've gotten better with my relationship with my wife, and I'm so far away from where I want to be. But I am heading in the right direction, and I don't know, I just feel like maybe someone else just needs that same thing I needed. One of the first things that my counselor said to me, my life coach, is anything that you did that you hate, anything that you did that you despise, that you wish you could take back, anything that you wanted was something that creates, or would normally create, a need, a valid need. And you just went about it wrong. And you need to go on from that. And I've read a lot of books that he's told me to read, and a lot of them had to do with just becoming, remembering who you were, who you are. And I hope that we can talk about that I can do things in less rambling type state. And I don't know, maybe this helps somebody. Maybe that helps me have a little bit of purpose. And I mean, if I ever put this on, and if you see it and you want to comment and share a little bit of what your experience is, but this isn't for how to become successful in life and how to make everything happy. This is just how to start really living for one more day. To stop listening to the voices inside your head that tell you you're worthless, that tell you it's too far gone, you're too old. Look at you, you can never get back to that condition. You can never. I mean, I'm biking as many miles now as I did in my 20s. And that's something I forgot that I used to do, that I just forgot was important to me. One day I just decided to walk around the block, and then the next day it was walk around a couple more blocks and walk a little bit faster. And the hardest thing about that is when you decide to do that, you're going to see two things. Number one, you can do it. You can do something. You can move somewhere. You can make an effort. And number two, you're going to realize just how fucked you are at this moment. But it's not unfuckable. Now, not even 6 months later, I can walk and mix walk running 5 miles. And bike 15. And this is a guy that couldn't even bike one single mile. I couldn't walk for 15 minutes mowing my own lawn without taking a break. I started to realize that the number one thing I needed to do is I needed to stop using alcohol as a treatment for my sleep. And that was hard to do because it was habit. It was habit. I didn't want to hurt. And I didn't want to miss another night of sleep. I didn't want pain. But the funny thing is pain is exactly what I needed at that moment. And one of the books I read talked about pushing into that pain. And there's a lot of chemical reasons these things happen. And your body has its own thought process that's separate from your mind and your will. And I've watched it with no extra time on my hands, listening to books while I work, while I'm putting in. But I had to invest. I had to buy an audiobook and listen to the book while I went and did jobs that I would previously pay other guys to do because I was trying to make another deal. I was trying to do another thing to make more money. I had to bet on myself that I could keep doing the work, and then I kept those noises out by getting an audiobook and listening to it while I worked or while I drove to different appointments, and just kept pushing that button and kept going and trying to really use introspective to say, what am I missing here? What am I not doing here? And then realizing I always knew that I had to quit drinking to go to sleep at night, that I had to quit eating to make myself feel better. I had to stop doing things for other people to make them like me, to people who already loved me, because of the guilt of the person that I had become. And it's hard to talk about, but it's not because I'm in pain now, emotionally. For all the body pain, and I don't ever want to run. I don't ever want to get on my bike. And if you want to watch some inspirational video on that, just look up David Goggins, because there's a guy that pushed himself and he hates it. He hates it. This guy ran 250 miles. You know, I mean, I'm not that guy. Nobody really is, but I mean, it shows you that you can do the things that you don't want to do. The body isn't the enemy. It's your mind. It's your will. It's your guilt. It's your misplaced sense of buying people's affections by doing nice things for them, trying to get a better self-opinion of yourself by hoping that other people and anything that you do just makes them happy for a minute, if you're lucky. So I hope that this can become something that helps somebody else. I know I'm just rambling and I don't even know where I'm going to go with this, but there's so many topics, so many different things. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me to keep me permanently on this track, to give myself something to log now that I'm well into beginning this journey that I don't know where it ends. But I know this. Before, I realized after a while, meeting with my counselor, reading books, I was at a point where somewhere inside I was preparing to die. I was just doing as much as I could to get as much as I could out of the time I had with my family before I died. Whether that was 5 years, 2 years, 5 months, 10 years, 20 years, I had no hope for myself to actually get back what I had given away, what I had let an enemy steal from me. I don't believe that anymore. I believe it may take every day that I have, but one of my goals right now is to be healthy enough to live and work as long as I live, because I'm going to need to do that, because I don't have a savings account. I don't have a mortgage I have nothing. I have less than nothing. And the only way, there's no retirement for me. There's only work until you die. And maybe that becomes a great thing. Maybe that's just enough, but it's going to be fulfilling. And it all started with taking my mind and my body back. And I'm never going back to giving up again. I hope to talk to you again. Take care.